Hi. How are you? So just let me. Good morning. Just let me set up the mic. So with this beginning, if you want to unmute, you unmute. But if you want to keep you unmuted, it's also fine because we're not yet start. I just wait a little bit more because I think it's a little bit too early. A little bit today. We still have not yet everyone here, but just wait. I think let's wait three or 4 more minutes before we get started. In the meantime, if you have any question, feel free to do it. I think today we have some rain, heavy rain, so that's why if you celebrating. So let me start. We're 45 people, so probably you're just still waiting, waiting a little bit. 6 to 7 people. We just wait a little bit more because the first class. So we just want to make sure before. So in 3 to 4 minutes, we will start talking about the course outline. So let me share the screen. So we go over the course outline. Just wait a little bit more because I think the first class is a little bit unusual.
Pairing mode, waiting for device to connect.
Okay, I think we should get going, although we don't have enough people here. I think we have 46 people, but I guess we should not wait for too long because it's first class. Hi, good morning, everyone. Let's talk about this class. So this is DSME 2011. This is session H. So we have a little bit strange time. It is somewhat like the morning class and the very late afternoon class. So it's Tuesday 8:30 and also Thursday 4:30. So my name I'm Chun. So probably some of you might have noticed. Actually, I did my undergrad in CHK. So this is my first class teaching CHK here. Come back. Before that, I was in teaching Singapore. For this statistics introductory class, I have taught it like 6 to 7 years ago. So it's not the first time I teach this type of class, but of course, after several years, my teaching skill improved, so it will be very different. But I hope you like it. And you see the screen? Can you hear me? I mean, I didn't have any response from you guys, but let me know. You leave in the chat, please, if you want. If you where's the chat? Oh yeah. If you cannot see anything, I mean, or can't hear me, let me know. Can you hear me? Yes, very good. Thank you. So our TA is Austin. He's in room 945. So because of the current situation, so everything office hour will be by appointment. So this we try to do it without physical contact. But if things become different, we can try to figure out other things. But currently by appointment. But most of the time probably can be done by email. And what is the main idea of this class, right? As the what it said is to be, say, statistics, right? Although we have a non-lane, but it's more like introductory statistics, and with some focus on application. Okay, so probably like when I was in the undergrad, right? I also in business school, so this is not my favorite class, but I hope you like it. But I guess this is a very useful class because it will be used for other classes later, right? Later here we learn some other technique that will be useful later. Okay, what are those? We're going to learn. I mean, this is a common topic among all the sections, right? You can see we have descriptive statistics, right? Basically, you're given the data, you're trying to tell, okay, what can we conclude from the data? Okay, just descriptive. It will be the first 2 weeks. Okay, we'll go over discuss statistics and also probability theory. Okay, and based on the probability theory, we go back again because what we have learned, the first part will be trying to describe data, right? Use data, but we're going back to ask, okay, we're trying to get some data. Can we infer something from the population? What it means is we never usually unable to collect everything from the population, right? For example, the recent, right? Look at the recent news. We want to test everyone. We have COVID-19, right? Whether we have the disease, right? But usually unable to get everyone to get tested. Right? So usually the best way to do is to sample, right? Randomly pick up somebody and see if they have. If no one have, then we are more or less confident that it's okay, right? That is something usually what they do, right? And that's actually, I mean, I don't know too much, but people said the medical test in China to test COVID-19 to save money, you combine different sample from several people and test it. If there's nothing, there's nothing. When there's something, you do further testing. Right? They say it's a kind of statistical technique. Oh, sorry, there's some people have that need. So for those who arrive late, it's okay. We're just talking about the cost outline. And then after the inference, we talk about two important tools, regression and ANOVA. Okay. Basically, you are trying to discover relationship between variables, right? That's a very common thing you do, right? You try to discover causal relationship, okay? And for example, very common, right? Now is very common thing is that we want to try to see if the vaccine of the COVID-19 is useful or not, right? Or you take certain medicine, is it useful? Or you wash hand in this way or the other way around, it's going to be helpful for prevention of disease. So that is the main idea behind. And then in the, I think 3,000 classes, sorry, this is my first semester, so I don't quite recall what it's going to cover, but in the more advanced class, we will go more deep. We move the simple. We still do linear regression or different type of regression, and that will be something very useful. And as this is the B school class, so we will focus on application. Okay, and for application, so we will be reflecting in the assessment. Later we will see. We will have a lot of projects and some presentations and some homework, trying to make you to do some application. Okay. Oh yeah, some question. Yes. You can unmute your mic. Yes. Chilin, you have something to? Someone raise a hand. So what is the question? Hi. Someone raise a hand. Chuklin, are you? I think we still have a question. Okay. I mean, because I can't. Okay, that's fine. So if you have a question, because I cannot raise a hand, sometimes I cannot see everyone because I just scroll down the Zoom, then it's not easy to see everyone. But if you have a question, you can unmute your mic, raise your hand or whatever, try to stop me. So what's the learning outcome? So basically you learn the technique, you apply basic technique to apply to data analysis. Okay. And I would focus a little bit more on software because most of us is not going to derive from hand. Although I really like doing by hand, this will. Oh, the voice is a bit fuzzy. Is it okay? Because it's a new mic, I'm not sure how it works out. Is it okay? Yukun, is it okay? Okay, it's okay. If it sounds weird, let me know because I just got the mic, new mic. I'm not sure how it sounds like. So the software will do Excel, but compared to other classes, I will also do R and Python if I have time. But at least we try to do R and Python. I don't know because but if you learn R, then Python is very similar, at least for statistics aspect. Let's see if we have time. But we'll try to at least we'll do the Excel because the textbook will be focused on Excel, but we'll do some R. Okay, and to support you to do software, actually I asked for the support from DataCamp, so which is an online platform. You will be later. I'll show you what to do with there, but you can learn on your own pace. Of course, we keep covering the class, but the website has so many things you can learn by yourself. So that one is really cool. So we thank for support for DataCamp. So but we will show you later. So this is the course syllabus, okay? But we'll go over that when we go to the timeline. So here comes the things probably you care most, I guess, to decide whether you want to take or drop this class, is how we assess our get your grades, okay? So now you guys are lucky because in the old days when I was in undergrad, then I noticed there's a grading on the curve. Happen to be no matter how well you do, if there's some way super smart people, you are unable to get good grades. So you guys are frustrated, I guess, from 2 to 3 years ago, probably before any of you joined this school, they started to do the do away with the relative grading, with the absolute grading. So how well at the end the grade you have will be depend on how the absolute merit you'll be doing. So I think my decomposition of the assessment will be more or less similar to other classes, but there's some difference, of course. The first one will be the text, will be the most important part, will be the 40%. This is more exam, but not exam, because later you will see the timing will be during the term, not at the end. The reason why I put it during the term, because I don't want to interrupt with your project. So I want you to have tests, everything ready. You are sure you're okay, then we will allow you to continue with the presentation of the project. Then you'll be very free when we do the project presentation. Because when I was a student, I always worry about how to control the time for project and presentation exam. It's always competing with each other. So let me do it away. Let's do the test, and then we do the or the presentation project at the end. And other good thing is you don't want to have all the exam at the end of the semester, then make the things terrible. So I try to make it early. And the second one is more like quiz and participation, which what we're trying to do is for each topic we cover, we try to give a quiz, mostly in terms of multiple choice, but it's open book. You can consider this is more like presentation. So as long as you participate and probably seriously, then probably you will get marks, right? Probably if you get 0 for every question, then probably you will get some deduction. But most likely, unless there's some special reason, I think you have some deduction, then I put some point, but most likely it will be participation. Of course, there's some difference, but the difference will be small. Okay. Homework and quiz again is trying to make sure you understand the idea. Okay. Because this is a math quantitative class. There's no way that we can do it as soft. It's more like hard skill, so you have to do practice. We try to have 6 assignments, but only top 5 we use. So just make sure that you understand the component there. Project implementation, probably we'll talk about grouping everything later, because I think after the agile period, because then we can decide how many students in one group. And the main idea is to apply what you learn in the business application. So you start from collecting data, do the analysis, write the report, and present it. And you can decide what topic you want to discover. Write a short report. I don't want it to be long, so make sure everything is very concise. Presentation also very concise, because no one is going to read your long report, no one to listen to your long thing. So we try to make it very concise and precise. And of course, you don't want to overwork. So that's why we want to make sure that you did a very work that is easy to read, and the talk is concise and good to listen. And this particular part of assessment will be the final mark will depend on my mark. I think TA will also do it, and also your PA. Okay, so everyone will have a say on this. So you have to not impress me, but impress the TA also not, but everyone would agree that you are a good project and good project. Okay, so up to now, is there any question? For those who arrived late, those we cover is we are talking about course outline. So basically covering what is the expectation of this class, and also the assessment method. I guess more or less the same. I guess other classes have midterm or final, but we only have one single test because we have also presentation, because we're focused on application. So that's why we don't want to have a lot of exam and 2 exams into 1 exam. And also the quizzes is more or less like hit or miss, right? So basically you do it, you will get most of the credit. Okay. Of course, you get everything correct, then you have some bonus point, of course. I mean, but most of the time, you will not make a difference if you make some mistake. But so far, is there any question? So please feel free to ask. I mean, if you have some suggestion, let me know. But is there anything? Is there any question in case someone who don't hear? Oh, sorry, I have to say anything. Is it any question, suggestion? I mean, of course, at this point, we're still able to change it, but after, I think, 1 week or 2, we have to fix everything here. Any question at this moment? No? Okay. So then the outcome, I guess is a standard for every classes. So I'm not going to go over it. If you have any questions, so feel free to ask me, but we spend time on more important things. So textbook. It's always a question whether you want to buy because the textbook is not cheap. But this textbook is common across every section. And I don't know if you can get a second hand from a previous cohort, but I don't know whether to say this book is well written or not, but you contain everything you want and you excel. Of course, you have more than what we want. I will just cover some of it, but in terms of homework, we assign some of the homework there. And for those homework, we probably do a photocopy scan for you. So, and if you ask me, is it necessary to have? It's not a must. If you have, you have. If you don't have, then it's okay. I mean, or you can, if you can ask, I think the library might have some. I think library have some. But you can pick up any statistic textbook that would do the work because it's a very basic thing. So it doesn't really matter. And I guess if you understand the class and the slides, then I guess it's not an issue because the book basically just cover the region we cover is basically it's very standard stuff. So it's not really to have much stuff there. You can pick up any textbook. Recommended reading. I don't know that one because everyone uses it in the section. I haven't read that recommended reading, so I don't know. If you want, you want. You don't want, you don't want. It doesn't really matter. I haven't read that book, so I don't have idea of it. But every other section have the same recommended reading. So I don't have the copy. I haven't read it, so I don't know. But if you want, you can read it. So for probability, these two books are much more advanced. And for those who are ambitious, I recommend you read this probability and statistics. The reason I want to recommend is for introductory statistics textbook or any introductory class, it's always the case that we're trying to hide in something. We say, oh, this is right and this is the formula. We're not trying to explain. I try my best that in our course, we try to explain most of the formula, but there's something we can't explain. We can't prove it within our time frame. So I would just say we just use this result. But if you want to know more detail, then I recommend you read this one. You have although it doesn't explain everything, but it includes most of the thing you want to know. Okay, and if you're curious, you read this one. Okay, and for the class, we go a little bit beyond the textbook for some proof, but of course, it's good to know it, know some proof. And if you want further, you can go a little bit more. statistical inference is even more advanced than the first one. So if you want to further, if you still have question after reading the first one, you go to the second. Okay. For Excel, I recommend you to for a dummy series. Okay, this dummy series is a bit good for introduction, and of course we go over that in the class, so it shouldn't be an issue. But if you want to go for more detail, you can read this one. And for our the many our textbook there, so I just give you some of the book here, but you don't have to worry about that. Okay, and Python also give you standard one. Okay, so if you have any special thing, doesn't really matter. Okay. So for the course feedback, I guess as people from Hong Kong, I mean, maybe some of you from other places in the world, but many of us are very shy, including me in those days. But I hope you would try to tell me, at least in the privately, or email me, what do you feel and how can I improve, or what you want, because I'm just trying to provide service to you. If you have some way to improve, I try to do it, and you can give me feedback at the end of term, but probably it's too late. So hopefully you would fill the class. For this class, I cannot extend for too long because I have the next class at 10:30. So if you, I only can stay for 15 minutes. If you still want to talk to me, then we can schedule a Zoom appointment, or we can talk during the break. So I guess every 45 minutes you have 15 minutes break. So, but here is something you can do the feedback. I hope that you would give me feedback so that we can improve, because this is the first time I teach this class again after 8 years, so it's good to know how you feel. So what is the tentative schedule here? You can see after every topic, I have a quiz. So the quiz may not be on Thursday, don't worry. We'll finish the one topic, we'll do the quiz. The assessment will be very tentative, okay? But the topic, I guess, more or less will be something what we're expecting. So we'll do some, today we'll cover the chapter 3 of the textbook. We'll go over the descriptive statistics. We will be rather quick here because there's certain formula I think you've learned many of you have learned in the primary, secondary school, some of them primary school, the mean, average, those kind of stuff, standard deviation, the basic thing. We will not have time to cover the basic collecting the data, how to draw a chart, those kind of non-technical part. I guess you spend so much money on the tuition. I don't see the first 2 chapters you need me to go over. I recommend you read on yourself, on your own, at your own pace. If you have a question, you can go over that. But I guess which chart would fit what kind of data, I don't think it's worth our time to go over the class. And how to collect data, I don't think it should be something that we cover in the class. I would recommend that you read them when you do the project, because the project you will be collecting data, cleaning data, present data. That will be, you use it there. And there's not much technical part there, so I suggest we skip the first 2 chapters of the book. Nevertheless, it's very important. We don't cover it's not because it's not important, but because it's more or less very plain and you don't have much difficulty over there, but I hope that's okay. And the 10 topics we cover, right? We said we'll cover some descriptive statistics, average, standard deviation, those kind of things which you learn very soon, maybe soon after the break. Some probability, So this is the classical math topics. So we don't go through very deep, but we just go enough so that you can understand below. One of the main things that we cover but is not used in the subsequent chapters is the base rule, which is something like how you update your knowledge based on new information. Okay, that is pretty useful idea. Okay, for example, if the government now they're doing testing everyone, right? And you test, I think up to 1 million people now, and then okay, where to stop, right? And there's a question, right? This reliability, the base rule, the base theorem is a way to decide when you stop. Okay, how much you should stop, or uh, that is the main idea. And the coming two topic will be further application of probability. To give some structure of the problem, to give some more detail of probability. Okay. So basically, is the first chapter is to calculate some number, the mean, variance, and then we will top up probability, and will be some specific thing in the next two topics. And then 5 to 10 will be the main core of the class, right? We talk about sampling, okay, because we're never able to collect every single observation, right? Because we are looking at the thing we want to study. Usually it's very big, but we cannot study every single item. If we can, then there's no need for this class. We are trying to get things out, right? Just like the US, right? Now it's election time, right? We want to see how many people support Biden, how many people support Trump, and we're able to do it every single day for how many people in the US? I think it's 300 million people, right? You are able to do it. So every time you can see the sampling, what they do in the US is like more or less 1,000 people, right? And why you try to get thousands of people is able to give you some idea, right? It's based on this sampling theory. The most important thing here is probably some of you know is what we call central limit theorem, and also law of large number. But these are two technical terms. But based on this, we try to understand why we can do things based on just a small sample of 1,000 can infer things from 300 million people. And based on the sampling, we're trying to do estimation. And 7 and 8 is do some hypothesis testing. Okay, it's more like judgment in the courtroom. You're trying to see, say, for example, you do some sampling, right? I think there's something very common here is like the Pan Democrat, right? Is deciding whether they should accept the appointment of the government to continue their one-year job, okay? And what they do is trying to collect people's view, right? And they want to see whether more than a certain percentage they don't want to continue the job. If less than certain percent they continue, right? And then when you do sampling, right, you're not asking everyone. So then you are trying to see if it's more than or less than, right? Is now the threshold is 50%, right? So they want to see whether it's more than 50 or less than 50. But you do sample is always has some error, right? Because based on who you ask. So in order to make sure that what you observe is not due to sampling error, right? Then you need to have some way to do it, right? If this is 51, probably it's okay, right? But if 49.999, then are you going to say no or yes? So this is the idea, right? You say something, if you were above the threshold, you don't really worry, you don't need statistics, right? But if slightly more or slightly less, then do you count it, right? So there's a problem. Or you look at the COVID-19 problem, if when you try to test whether you're disease and if the testing method is not accurate, right? And how many times you need to make a judgment, right? Suppose the test is not accurate, only have 30% accuracy, right? Then you ask how many times you need to test the patient before you are able to confirm it's okay, right? Or in the other words, look at something very common is, I think it's the rocket science, right? It's like the rocket by Elon Musk, right? And then you are trying to see whether the system is okay. You have to do enough flying tests, right? And how many times is sufficient to be safe because they have been flying people in the rocket, right? How to say? Then there's some criteria to pass, right? That is what the hypo testing is about. And the next is ANOVA and also regression. As we mentioned very early, they're trying to understand the relationship of two variables. Okay, and ANOVA, the analysis of variance, is trying to see whether a numerical variable, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and versus a categorical variable grouping. Okay, for example, one common question you would wonder is whether people live in Hong Kong Island, okay, maybe people different from Kowloon and New Territories, right? Or people in the rural area is different from urban area, okay? Maybe the income in the rural and urban is different, okay? That is one thing. Or you want to see here the college system, right? We want to see different college after 4 years. Do they have different, right? Maybe the college education is a little different. Or if you study in Chinese U, right? B school compared to B school in HKUST, right? And you look at the job placement or income they earn is different, right? The continuous variable, the number of variables is income, right? Here the categorical variable, the ABCD variable or 1, 2, 3, 4 variable is whether you switch K, whether you are HKUST, okay? You want to see whether the grouping would make a difference. So analyze of variance as a meta grouping would make a difference. And it's very common about grouping, right? As I mentioned, whether you live in Hong Kong Island or Kowloon Peninsula or New Territory are not continuous in some sense, that no relationship, right? That's the idea here. And basically try to infer, right? Or the next one is trying to drop the idea of a discrete thing. It's just to collect everything continuous, all the number. Look at X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y is all 1, 2, 5. You want to try to see whether X and Y are related. So one common thing is like in economics, business economics, is trying to see how your education affecting your income, right? I spend 1 more year in college, right? Spend 1 more year in CHK, how it affect my lifetime income. If I study later, many of you may consider MBA, right? After a few years of working, you want to see whether MBA is going to improve your income, right? Whether it's worth doing it because it's pretty expensive, right? So that would be rely on, you can do a regression on it, right? Try to see how the education, 1 more additional year, change the income, right? You want to collect the data and try to run a regression, okay? And actually, I noticed many of you actually from accounting, right? And some of you are from QFN. And actually, accounting use a lot of analysis variance, hypothesis testing, and sample regression, right? Especially audit, okay? Because actually, majority of you are accounting, so I give accounting example. Before time, I give some finance example. For accounting, actually, you do a lot of audit, right? You do a lot of audit, actually, you do sampling, right? Because you cannot test everything, right? And based on the sample, you want to see whether the company is telling the lie or recording the data properly, right? So that's involved hypo testing. So analysis of variance also you want to do it because you may want to look at how whether the company may cheating, right, in some area, right? Maybe in, say, suppose you do audit they do business in the rural area, urban area. Urban area sometimes is hard to cheat, right? But the rural area is something you cannot monitor that well. So probably analyze variance would be something very useful, okay? Because say for example, look at the time inventory turnover or other thing you can check because across cities or across manager, right? Because some manager may be cheating or not, you may know. And regression also very useful, right? You want to see two continuous variable. There will be a lot of scenario you can do, combine data with a lot of data points there, then you can also do regression how to infer. But for the detail, you can, the textbook has a lot of example, but this will be the overall view of the class. And additional topic and review, mainly we are trying to cover it for the Python if you have time. We're trying to cover the Tuesday class type. We're trying to usually cover the main ideas, and then the first day class we will hand on and do statistics in Excel or R. Depends on the time constraint. And this is an overall view of the class. And just like every other class, I just put the dishonesty here. Just don't copy from others. Also, cannot copy from yourself, from previous semester, so on and so forth. Just don't copy. I think it's okay to discuss, but you have to submit your own version. So that is the idea. I think also for the group project, you shouldn't fee write others. Okay. You will be also requested to submit the peer evaluation for the group projects. So you have to tell me whether your group may have done the work. If everyone is complaining, I'll look into what happened. But of course, I always notice that always fee writing problem. If you insist on doing on your own, I allow you can see between 1 and 6. So probably you can do it on your own if you really want to. But everything, your workload is proportional, direct proportional to number of people in your group. So there's no gain or loss by doing a smaller group, bigger group, right? So the page limit and the presentation time limit are all proportional to the group size. So there's no good way to tell the size of the group, but I recommend you to try to do the grouping because at the end of the day, you go out and work, you need to collaborate with your colleague. So that is necessary to do in group, and you know how to communicate, and that is the important thing, right? So I guess I overrun by 3 minutes. So we should have a break of 50 minutes. After that, we will start, after coming back, we will start our lecture. So we will be, after that, we go back to this, I think we'll go to, so we'll go for this slide, but let's have a break of 50 minutes. So we'll come back at 9:35, okay? So break. In the meantime, you can, so someone asked if this calculator is required. Well, yeah, but you can use Excel to do your job, or you might do calculator. Well, because the test we are trying to do, although it's closed book, you can use Excel, but you just can't. I think it's fine. I think you don't have to buy a calculator. If you don't have calculator, you can use calculator. Did you answer your question? So in the break time, I unmute all. You can talk to me if you want to. Good. So break now, but if you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. We will break until the 15 minutes break. After break, we'll talk about the descriptive statistics. Oh, you can do Kathleen? Yes. So we can download, you can do Excel. And then R is completely free. So we'll go over the downloading there. So it's free. And Python also free. So Excel, I think everyone would have it. Is everyone who have it? Is everyone have Excel? So you will be Excel, R, and Python. And as I said, if we do it, then except Excel, then I don't think we'll be done. We'll download it. We will go over the downloading process. But is that okay? Oh, no, we will go Excel. I think everyone have it, right? Is it okay if we can go over Excel? But I think ITSC have Excel thing. Because I don't know. Let me check. I think CHK ITSC will tell you how to download the Excel. In the Office is, I think the Microsoft Office, they have that. Just wait a second, I just try to check it out. But most of the time, if you're in Hong Kong, you can still Google Sheet will be fine. Google Spreadsheet will be fine. Or other spreadsheet will be fine because you are not using a complicated thing. No, we'll cover R. Python, if you have time, we'll cover it. You don't have to learn by yourself. We'll cover it in the class. This will cost will we be include a course content? Well, I haven't made the exam, so I cannot tell whether will be included or not. But I think Excel will be included. Python, I'm not sure. R might or might not depend on the time constraint we have. But I guess will be some question. I'm not unable to tell at this point. Python probably I think it's not a big deal because we're just doing some statistics. So just to warn you that don't think our class is going to teach you everything in Python. We just teach you how to do statistics in Python. So we're not teaching you it's not a Python class. Okay, this is not a Python class. And whether you want to whether you need to learn by yourself, you can learn by yourself. But actually, I tell you that later I show you the data camp, you can learn it by yourself. So you can learn from scratch from there. But it's not an R and Python class, okay? It's just we covered the thing that's sufficient for you to do the calculation and all the technique here. Okay, it's not a, just reiterate, it's not, some of you may say after this class, I can put R, Python, and Excel in your CV, that's okay. But it's not going to be, it's okay, fine, but it's not able to say you can work in the Google or Microsoft or data scientist. It's not going to be like that, but you will learn some skill there. And for a project, I require you to show me your code. So either you can do Excel or Python. So any of them would work. So, but with the exam, I'm not sure yet. Might be some question, but probably will not be something difficult. But probably you have to ask me later stage. Is that okay? Because we are first class. I don't know how. Let's see how well you're doing in your assignment assessment, because we need to design your assessment, seeing how well you're doing, right? Because so for those who arrive late or your Zoom name, probably it's good to put your student ID at the end of your name. But let's have a break. Go to the washroom, whatever you like. I just get some water. I come back. If you question, just leave in the chat. I just get some water. I'll be back. So let's get back. So before we start, let's do a small survey on how well you do today and all other questions. So you can use the QR code or just type this URL. This will be the system we're trying to do it for the quiz, but this is an initial one. But this is not the first quiz, but this the quiz will be done in a similar way using the U reply system. Okay, please go to here and then is it okay? Can you log in? Hi. We already end the break. So let's try to do it. Can everyone log in? So just 3 more minutes, then we will be doing. Just see how your classmate is doing. So it's ice-breaking exercise because you need to do things. So let's try to make sure that I see you can log into the you reply. It's okay. Next time we'll see how. Can you still do it? So it's almost like most of done. So let's see how are we doing today. So most of you excited, some of you okay, most of you are tired. Okay, understandable. I see. So some of you might not be able to do the system. Maybe you have to contact the IT because it's also the first time we're doing it. And yeah, some of you may not be able to do it, but if you, let's see how you try to do, how to solve this problem. Because of we're trying to do the quiz through the system. If that is the case, we're trying to figure out what to do next time. But this time we're just trying to do it with this. But just for those of you who cannot do it, try to email me or try to email the system to see if that what is the problem with that. some connection issue. Maybe we're thinking to put the system in the black box, also the question. But let's see what we can do to solve this problem. But let's see how well. I mean, most of the time, I guess, is morning class. Some of you excited and happy. I guess I have 3 of them actually. So what's the next question? Why here? Most of people like the morning class in here. It's interesting. So you can see this as the data, right? The bar chart. So basically, many people said it's only section that matches timetable. So I hope you don't feel too bad about the morning class and the late afternoon class. Some of you are shopping for A, but it's okay. I think I don't know whether I can give easy A, but it depends on how well we achieve the thing. I think it's, I guess, more or less all the sections are similar, right? And I guess C is the most common thing, but probably you don't want to say. Might be compulsory, then it's only available, but I hope try to make it more interesting as much as I can. But this statistics class I happen to be dry anyway, so we'll try to see whether we can add some ingredient to focus on more application to make you happier. And so I see some of you know statistics, but most of you doesn't know anything. So we'll start from the very basic. Okay, I will try to slow down the speed. So looks like so you don't like math. It's okay. We are not using heavy math. Just some calculator or Excel spreadsheet will do the job. We don't have much math here indeed. Behind we derive the thing. For the usage, you just know what to use what, when to use what the drawback of this approach, what is the good point about this approach. Actually, it's non-quantitative, but but you have to know there's some quantitative aspect of it. Question 6. Programming, okay, no one like writing program, unfortunately. But these days you have to know some programming, more or less. But I guess most of you have smartphone, right? And then you play a lot of apps, then probably that would be helpful compared to my audience. And we don't have much programming anyway, because what we do is try to use some given application, given formula, and try to put that in. So it's not something we do a lot of programming. Okay, so don't worry, we're not doing programming, but we just use some programming command. Just like a calculator, you can imagine Excel or R or say more advanced calculator. Okay, we're just using the calculator function of those. So don't worry if you don't like. Okay. Most of you saw basic operation of the software package. So hopefully we don't spend too much time on that. But if you, in any case, you don't know, just feel free to stop me and try to tell me there's some part that I should go from the beginning. So most of you don't know Excel B.B.A. Actually, that would be very useful. Although we don't have time to cover it, I mean, probably we don't, but it would be some more useful thing to put in a CV. So if you learn HTML, basic Java, or so you can see that some people know the Python already. Then I think it's good to go. Serial knowledge is fine. As I said, I assume zero knowledge at all, but if you are getting advanced knowledge, then great. But so now you probably know how some of your classmates doing. I guess I don't know whether you know your friends or not, but in case you don't, then feel free to know more about your friends because you may need to. do your projects. Okay, of course you can do it on yourself. But now, is there any question? So basically, you know more about your classmate because, and also you know how to do the U reply, which you try to do in the class. Try to give you something before we go. But let's talk about the. Let's start our lecture. Any questions before we really get started? No? Okay. So let's get started. So this we cover in this class and next class. So statistics. So we start with descriptive statistics. Okay, I hope you can see the screen of slides. Is it okay if you have any question? Okay, since this you can see my screen. If you're okay, type okay to make sure everyone is here. Is it? Can you type okay if you can see the slide? Because it's very different from face to face because you don't see me. Then you can see me, but I can't see you. So I'm not sure everyone is around. Listen, of course, I don't know whether you are doing other things. It's fine, but just let me know if you can see the slide and listen to my thing. I mean, you may be doing other things as well, but just okay, that's good. So let's get started. So the statistics, if you go to read in a textbook, or they'll try to tell you there are two parts. Okay, the first part is descriptive. The second part is inferral. Okay, descriptive is something very easy. We're not trying to make new knowledge. We're just trying to get data and try to condense to get some idea out of the data. So that is the descriptive statistics. Okay, you're not trying to make any judgment. Okay, and the inferral statistic is trying to make some judgment, trying to make some prediction, to make some statement about the population. So we collect some data and we try to make some conclusive statement about the original population. Okay, so both parts are very useful because you would collect data and you describe it and you want to make some decision, right? So that is that's why our class will proceed in the standard way, right? So collect data, try to analyze it, and you try to make some judgment. Okay, so that's the idea. And although I said I don't go to the chapter 1 and 2 in the textbook, we just give you the basic thing about the data classification. So the data usually we have can be classified into two main category, either categorical or numerical data. Okay, in the U reply, the survey you have just done, right? There are nominal and ordinal data. Ordinal data, right? It's like whether you're happy today, right? Happy, sad, tired, excited, is nominal. Cannot say anything. There's not much relationship between them, right? The gender, male, female, others, right? And race also same, right? So that's nominal, just a name. And the other was not ordinal, right? You also have the ordinal thing, right? I like math, right? Strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree, right? So that's a ranking thing, right? There's order will matter, okay? Each variable, each category, right, would have the order. So there's a not. You can group the linear fraction, right? There's a one is better than the other, the other better than the other, right? There's a ranking. It's order, so it's ordinal. So these two types, actually each type have way to analyze, right? If you look at a textbook, it will tell you different data would list differently, right? Sometimes you can do a pie chart, bar chart, those kind of thing, right? Or pictogram. These are the way to represent this, right? And sometimes you also do you remember the chart, right? There's a Likert scale 1 to 5, right? You can still calculate some average or the mean, although we don't define the mean, but that is still order data. Sometimes you can put because order, right? You can put number, right? Because strongly disagree is 1, right? Disagree is 2, neutral is 3, agree is 4, and strongly agree is 5. So we can cover the average, right? Although it doesn't mean a lot, but we can still do some calculation. But why 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but not 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Why we have separate the same, right? Why didn't strongly disagree is 1, disagree is 3, right? Neutral to be 5, right? Because you want this strongly disagree to be a bigger thing. But there's no hard and fast rule to say how to assign number to ordinal, which is assign number, because the ranking, any number would do. But you have to know this is an ordinal thing. Okay, so there are a lot of ways to assign, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just only one way. And here's numerical data. Now, numerical data, you can have 2 types. One is discrete, usually count data. Say, how many people enter in the coffee shop today? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? How many people go to do the medical check today? Okay, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a count data. There's no 3.5 people. Okay, it's always integer. Okay, it's count data. And continuous data is something that not any value in between is also fine. So temperature, Hansen index. So it's more like continuous. Okay. Stock price is up to you to decide whether, strictly speaking, is discrete, because stock price is each in the stock market is only you have a minimum distance between the two. But it is enough number, usually we treat a continuous variable. Because in the real world, philosophically, everything is discrete or continuous is a philosophical question, right? Whether continuous exists in the real world. But as long as there's not any value in between is fine, it's more continuous, right? Discrete is more like you can see some concentration on certain number. We use discrete. And the reason why you have to distinguish the two because of the different way to represent data in the graphics, and also some analytical method will different depend on data. So it's too early to talk about all this thing, but later you see when we talk about applying method, then you have to understand. Good. So categorical data or numerical one, right? So remember in the topic 3 and topic 4, we talk about discrete probability distribution, and also topic 4 will be continuous probability distribution. So basically, there's these 2 parts. Okay, and the visualization, right? So hopefully you go back and stay at home you try to study a little bit more about the chart. But I hope you can do Wikipedia check of all the belonging chart. I'm not going to go into detail. I hope you learn it in your high school. So bar chart, pie chart, okay, histogram, polygon. Okay, I hope I'm not going to go over there. Probably new is a scatter plot and line plot, but as we go into the class later, then probably you learn all of this. Okay, I hope you now everything is data, so I hope this thing is nothing new to you. I hope. Is it okay? I don't cover this in detail. Is it okay? Okay or not? So if okay is okay, because I really need some interaction. I can't really see you, so I don't know whether you're okay, you're following or not. If you're following, say okay. If you're not, then if you want to know something, let me know. Thank you very much for replying. Okay, that's good. So everyone is following. So what is covered today? Okay, we're going to do 3 numerical representation. So center tendency, dispersion, and shape. So this is the main identity. I don't know whether we cover everything in time, but at least we should cover our first 2 of them. Okay. So center tendency is looking at given data. You want to choose one number, okay, one number to present data. What you do? You will do center tendency. Center tendency tells us a number that tries to represent data. Okay. There are 3 things do. Usually there's a mean, median, and mode, and they all very easy to calculate. So let me go to the formula, explain, and we mean, okay. Mean is just the sum of all the observation divided by number of observations, right? So basically the notation is called x bar on the left hand side. It's a fraction, okay? The denominator is n. N is in statistics is number of observation. You often see n. We don't explain n is number of observation here. And there's n observations. Each observation is called x. The first observation x1, the second observation x2 up to xn. And what we do here is adding all the observations over the number of observations. Okay, so it's very standard. So when you can add, you can see, I assume the data is already a addable, right? Is a numerical data. It's not a count data. Okay, if it's a categorical variable, you cannot do it. Okay, you can only add things because of it's a numeric. Okay, so the example very simple: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add up, divided by 5 is 3, right? Because this is 5, this is 5, this is 15, 15 over 5 is 3. It's okay, right? And second one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 50, right? So it's add together. This is 5, this is 5. It's 10. 10 plus 50, 60. 60 divided by 5 is 12. So okay? Good. Okay, there's nothing new here, but you can see when 5 becomes 50, then the number go with the top, right? So there's always a joke about this mean is mean income, right? Is the income, sorry, let's go over. The average income of Hong Kong is very high because of a lot of rich people, right? So suppose Lee Ka-shing, also all the tycoon here, right? Our average income is very high because of something like this, right? And you can see this 12, right? Is not really representative, right? It's nothing here, at least the first 4 is not related to 12, right? So that's why the mean can be misleading when the data is a little bit skewed, is asymmetric, right? It's like something, some outlier there, right? So that's why you look at people report income is usually not reported average income, right? Sometimes when you do GDP, you have a per capita GDP, but income reported average income can be meaningful, but usually not too meaningful, right? So that's why without mean, you have to do median. Okay, we'll do median later, but I hope the mean is okay. Is the mean okay? Mean okay? Okay, good. I got that from you, right? Mean is okay. Okay, so it's very simple. So the next thing is about, okay, mean has some problem that can do, but there's still a lot of uses and other ways to do it, right? And mean is you put every weight on observation, right? Observation equal weight, add them all up and divided by n, right? In general, that may be best. What we call the other way is called weighted average. Okay, what it's doing is if you put weight, is any number. Okay, we can put the first observation weight is 10, second observation is 50, and so on and so forth. And these weights will give you the average that is according to weights. Okay, so the most common thing you learn is GPA. Okay, and this class is a four credit class, right? Because you have 4 classes every week. But some other class are 3 credit class, right? So this 4 credit class, if you do an A in this class, right, is value more than a 3 credit class you do an A, right? Because this class is multiplied the weight of 4 when you calculate GPA. Okay, GPA in fact is a weighted average, right? Probably you know, right? Is that everyone knows it or not? Because I can't see your face. Sorry for asking. Yeah, good. And when you calculate the return portfolio, it's also the weighted average, right? And it's weighted by each investment, how much money you spend on the portfolio of particular stock, right? It's a weight return on portfolio is weighted average of investment. Price are the same, right? When you look at the consumer price index by the government, then it's also weighted by different things, right? It's like how much money you spend on food, how much money you spend on clothing, how much money you spend on entertainment, right? So the average price movement is based on the basket. It's relatively depends on the weight, and also very common you listen every day, right? Hazard index, right? It's an average price, right? But how the average between stocks, right? Because some stock are big, some stock are small, is which market capitalization is how much the money worth. Is basically the calculation is by price per share times how many shares you have. Okay, so basically suppose a stock overall 1 million stock, and the stock price is $5. So the market cap is 5 million because one stock is $5. There's 1 million stock. 5 times 1 million is 5 million. So the weight of that stock is 5 million times 5. If another stock, we have 1 billion stock, okay, and it's $1, then it's 1 billion is the market capitalization because 1 million times 1. Okay, is that okay? Good. So very good. Please ask me question because there's no point to leave it here. It's also you can send it privately. So it's good. Always good to ask questions because if you don't ask, I don't know. Because if you face to face, I can see your face. I can judge how well you know it. But now I cannot see it, and so no one is sending your pictures out. So I don't know how well you're responding. But anyway, please ask question. Okay. So the average is rather very common. So some other average are the geometric mean and harmonic mean. Okay, and the geometric mean is very common if you go to funds. Look at it. Most of you are not working, but you look at MPF. The average return of the portfolio using the simple average, add them all up is not the best way to do it. Okay, you would rather look at the geometric mean, right? Because why you want to do that? Because you not care about average. Average return is important, but it's not that important because the money the return you get in the first year, usually you reinvest in the second year, right? The money you earn from the first 2 years, you put back in the portfolio, you could continue to invest, okay? So that means that you are doing compounding, right? So the compounding, the way to calculate the return is always through the geometric mean, okay? So the same thing actually you do credit card, the same thing, right? Credit card tells you the annual interest rate, but it's not the actual rate you're calculating, all right? Actually, it's like you compounding every month, I guess, right? So that's mean you have to do the geometric mean in order to calculate all those things. So that's why geometric mean is more appropriate, all right? Give an example why geometric is appropriate, right? Suppose you have 2 funds, okay? You invest 2 funds. One fund, one project, give you the first year return is 90% return, okay? First 90%, and second is 10%, okay? And the other project reverse, first year give you 10%, and second year give you 90%, okay? Okay. And these 2 portfolio probably you don't feel a difference, right? You don't find it okay, right? You don't see the difference, right? No matter how geometric and arithmetic mean is the same. Look at the third portfolio, okay? The third portfolio, the first year give you 50%. The second is same, right? The average return is same across 3 portfolio, okay? but the last portfolio that you want to do it, you actually do the first one. Okay, what I mean is, I'm going to type it out. The first portfolio is the first year is 90%, the second is 10%, right? The second portfolio is 50% plus 50%. Okay, so let's see which one you want more. Let me do the Excel. So you can tell me which one you like. Yeah, so that is the idea of geometric mean, right? Because the second geometric is high. The average is the same, right? Everyone like be good. So you are good investor. So that is our geometric mean. Okay, you can calculate the return. Annual two. Yeah, there's only two years. First year is 90%, second is 10% return, and then another fund is more stable, 50% and 50%. Okay. So I don't want you to show the Excel, but it's good time to show the Excel, indeed. Okay, I hope everyone Excel spreadsheet with you. I think it's good to show the Excel spreadsheet. Let me show the screen. So I said the first one, the return is 90% and 10%, right? So the portfolio return, you can put a number here, right? So this is at the end of the 2 years, what you get is 109%, right? And the other one is 1.5 times 1.5. So the gross return will be 200%, right? So this number is high. The portfolio A, the portfolio B. Can you see the Excel spreadsheet? Is that okay? Can you see it? Yes, that's good. So that is this is higher. Okay, just put some random. Okay, that's good. That's good for now. So harmonic mean is a little bit more trickier. Is over the observation 1 over and as denominator is n over that. When you use it, sometimes I'm not going to talk about this part because it's also absent in textbook. So I just put it here in case you need. Is it useful when you do financial ratio calculation? Calculate P ratio. But anyway, I'm not going to go into detail on this part because geometric and weighted mean and also the simple average is the 3 most common thing. Harmonic thing is not very useful in finance or business application. It's more useful in engineering and physics. And I don't see anyone doing engineering, so I think I okay to skip. So the second, how to decide use which mean, okay? You usually don't decide which one. Usually you report which one, but usually depend on historical thing, right? Hansen index is a weighted average, and it's also usually you would put the weights when you really all the observations are the same, right? Then you have to weight it, and when every weighting are similar, then you report this simple average, right? Because you collect data, you don't know how many weights you carry, then you have to just add them up. And oh, you mean how you decide which one to use? Oh, as you said, you can actually this one, right, is based on multiply and take the square root, right? Is if you learn math, right? There is a what we call the AN bigger than GN and HN. So which one to use? HM is okay. HM usually you don't really want to worry about that part for application, business application. It's more used in physics. Something like I think you learned it in primary school. Something like if the speed of going from A to B is x, if the speed and go to B to C is y, and then what's average speed between x and y, then you use the harmonic mean. Something like that. And answer the question. QV. The answer the question. Geometric mean is, well, you ask exam or what? Okay, that would be if I ask mean, then if I don't say anything, mean is simple mean. Okay, if I don't put anything, mean is always a simple mean, and the weighted mean or geometric mean will be telling you what is good. But as we said, depend application, right? When you calculate return, you look at the MPF report or the fund report, they'll give you the average return, give you the geometric return. Okay, so that is something usually you would not do one, you do multiple. Actually, the same is all statistics thing. There are different measures, but you use all the measures. You will not use exclusively one measure. Does it make sense? Okay, that's good. So the median. So we cover the median and the mode, and then we will left the dispersion in the next class. So median. Median looks very complicated formula. Okay, but that's the middle one. Okay, so if odd number is exactly the middle one. Okay, if you even say odd, suppose you have three numbers, right? 1, 2, 3. The middle one, the second one, right? And if you have four number, 1, 2, 3, 4, the middle one is not clear. Okay, doesn't say middle one. So the middle one will be the average of the second and the third, right? Because 1, 2, and 3, 4, right? And the middle one is 2 and 3. So that's why the formula looks like this. Okay, and I try to make it a little bit more complicated because I want you to see the notation. So for x, right, you order them, right, sort them from 1 up to n, right, and this notation is called floor. This notation is called ceiling. Okay, the floor means if the smallest integer, if 3.1 will be 3, 2.9 will be 2, is a floor. This is ceiling, will be 3.1 will be 4. Okay, 4.1 will be 5, 3.9 will be 4. So this is round up, this is round down. Okay, so if you have n is odd, right? N plus 1 is even. Even over 2 will be even. So these two are the same number. So exactly we have x n plus over 2. Okay, and if even, right, there will be, you go n over 2, which is even number. N over 2 plus 1 is a upon 1. So it will be, if n is 4, 4 over 2 is 2, and 4 over 2 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3. So it's the second observation and third observation average of this observation. Okay, so it looks complicated, but let's do the example you see. So here, the data, the middle one is 2, right? Because 3, look at the formula, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 over 2 is 2. Okay, and the median here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will look at the middle, right? Middle is 2 and 3, average of them 2.5, or in the other word will be look at the formula, 4 over 2 is 2, okay? 4 over 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, so it's second and the third element here, okay? And the median of 1, 2, 3, 40 with the median of the 2, okay? So the average of the 2, median of 2, okay? So I hope that's okay. Then you can see no matter you change 4 to 40, this tells you the same outcome. Okay, so that's why median income, okay, Hong Kong median income will not be affected by the rich, very rich people. How much they earn is not going to affect, right? Today, rich people go bankrupt is not going to affect our income. Okay, so that is the idea here. Even if you don't know how much the rich people make, doesn't really matter, right? That's a good thing about the median, because usually the income, usually we're unable to tell how much the rich people is making, right? Because, but anyway, they're excluded from the system. Doesn't really matter anyway. Okay, so let me slightly overrun a little bit for the mole, okay, because it's easy. I think it's okay. So the mole is the most frequent value. So it can be more than one, okay? But the definition here, more than one, means the most frequent one. And if everything appears once, then there's no mole. Okay, so that's a little bit trickier part here. Okay, so usually you have frequency table with the maximum. Okay, so that's very ideal. So here, where 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, depends on how you define. You can define as all of them are the mole. Okay, or sometimes you can see a textbook. Look at the textbook. You would, I think the textbook would say there's no mole here. Okay, so it depends on how we define. But usually in the real world, we don't have this kind of problem. Okay, you don't have this problem. You don't have, if it's discrete data, you always have more than one. So this just only appear in theory. So it doesn't really matter. But in this case, you can see 2 and 3 appear twice, right? So that's why 2 and 3 are most common. Okay, and here 2 appear once more, you just have 2. Okay, so that's the mole. Okay, as I said, this one really depends on how we define. But to make case simple, we just use this approach different from the book. I think in the exam or the test, I think it's okay you use either definition. But I would rather stick to our notes just to make this case. But I think some software package will do one way or the other. So I guess we should stop here because I think it's almost time. But this is the first class. We had a lot of mean business, so that's why we're a little bit slower. But that I think we will stop here. But I will stay around to answer any question you might have until 10:30 because I have another class. Sorry, I can stay longer, but just feel free. So today we just cover mean, median, and mole, and some basic description of the data. Okay, so I will see you on Thursday. So bye bye. Thanks for coming. Uh, oh. Okay. June sub, so can you hear me? Yes. So what we cover in the first 15 minutes is we go over the syllabus. So basically, we talk about what this class is about. So probably you also listen from the second part. So and also we cover the assessment. So you have any question about the assessment? Or I can open your mic and there's not many people. You can just talk directly. You want to? Yes. Hi.
Hello, Professor. I was
You
it was
can
a
talk if you want,
last.
or you can type. Doesn't really matter. Hi.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi. Can you say? You want to say? You want to say anything, or you can just type.
Hello.
Okay. No. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
I can't hear you. Is that me? It's so weird. It's okay. You can just type, but I just feel weird because so the last 15 minutes. Oh, okay. Sorry. So we cover. Okay. Today we just cover the basic part. Is the I'll just give you a quickly go overview of that. Of course, if you so basically we just cover the mean, median, and mode, and what we let's see, what we actually cover is mean is just sum of all the observation to the other end. So I hope it's okay. Is mean okay? Joseph? Yes. So adding all up the other end. And I think that's not a problem. But the only trouble is you have the outlier. So you know, just the income, if you have outlier, then you skew. Is that part okay? Okay. And other than simple average is weighted average. So weighted average will be saying that because of each observation the same, same as Hansen index or the stock index is the larger stock would be more important than a smaller stock. So that's why you multiply by the weight. Is that part okay? Okay. And other thing is beside the adding up is multiply and take the square root. Okay. So this part is most important. I give example of investment, right? So the compound return. So that's why, for example, the investment the first year earn 90%, the second year earn 10%. Okay. Another portfolio is 50% the first year, second is of 50%. You would prefer the second one because second one have actually better geometric average. So that's why I show you the Excel spreadsheet is like this one, right? 90%, 10%, give you the portfolio, this one, 50 and 50, this one. And you can see the same average, simple average, but not the geometric one. Is that okay for you? Good. So the next part is median. So it looks little complicated formula, but what it means is the odd, we just take the middle one. Because say 1, 2, 3, you get the second one, right? Because second one is in the middle. We put 1 and 3 on the other side. 5 was saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 3 is in the middle, exactly, right? 5 plus 1 over 2, right? And even the same thing, if you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you don't have middle will be 2 and 3, so you average 2 and 3. So the example like this, 1, 2, 3, you get 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, you get 2 plus 3 over 2. Is that okay? Okay, but then it's not affected by outlier here. You can see the 40 doesn't really change anything. You get 400, the same thing. Is that okay? But the average will change a lot. Good. And the mode is a little bit more complicated. It's easy to calculate because it's the most frequent one. you can see 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 2, 2, and 3, 3 are the mole. If you're 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, the 2, 2 is the mole. Okay? And only tricky part is whether you count everything up here once, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you count all of them mole or there's no mole? Or depend on the package that you use, so it's up to you. If according to the slide, I take everything as mole, just to make it more easy. But if you want, you can just say no mole, but I just do it in this way. Is that okay? And mean, median, and mode are the what we call central tendency, right? Basically, just if you want to use one number to represent data, that's something you want to report. Is that okay? Right. So I think which part you have missed, and this is what we covered in the last 15 minutes. Is that okay? Oh, okay. Are you okay now? The median and the mode? Yeah, are you okay? Okay, but if still question, just ask me. I'm here. I mean, I still have 3 minutes, but see this class. See you on first day. Hallway, I use as problem or show you. If any question? Anything I can help? If no, then I will be leaving soon because I have next class to attend. Hi. Is that okay? No? So